It's Ringside Report MMA tonight on the show. Francis Ngannou signs to the PFL. We're going to preview UFC Vegas 72, Dern versus Hill. And AJ's here, Fred's here. They'll say things. They have things to say.
Let's go!
I said enough last week, I think, right? I mean, that was enough for me last week, guys. How are you?
What's up, Fred?
What did I say? Yeah, Fred wasn't on the show last week, AJ. AJ knows.
Oof. Dave is he's like basically all week I've been getting comments about Dave's like rant on Montreal.
Wow.
Dave's rant on it was crazy, man. That was a good one. Dave's rant on what like the UFC and all that kind of stuff. It was just a wild show, man. So if you want to hear it, you got to go back to last week, which was kind of surprising. Like, you know, it was like a pretty crazy show.
I'll just ask Dave tomorrow at
Oh, no, you got to hear it. It's not the same, Fred. It's not the same. You have to be there. It was like, basically, don't hold back, Dave. Just let it out.
There was a level of intensity.
Yeah, there was a level of intensity. It's one of those things that you can't explain it. You just need to watch it.
Who are you mad at?
Kind of like
Everybody.
Pamela Anderson coming down
Everybody.
this weekend.
You know me. Everybody.
It was
Right?
mad at the world.
Not my man Alice Shanks for renewing. Thank you, my man
Hey,
Shanks. That's my boy Sandro. I know that man for real. We went to high school together. Yeah,
Wow. Thanks, Sandro.
that's my boy.
I like the name. I get it. Alessandro. Okay,
Alessandro.
I get it.
Yeah,
Alex. Okay.
he's one of your people.
It's going to
You
be
know?
a rough year
half.
with our people.
He's half Italian and half
What's the other half?
Scottish.
Scottish.
Yeah.
Damn, there must be a lot of arguments at Christmas there. But
Shout out to his parents. Good people. Shout out to Harold Schneider, also a member. Join.ringsidereport.net if you haven't already. Join.ringsidereport.net. This channel is fueled by you, the members. We are here because there are members. And
Listen,
you guys pay your
members.
$5 a month. We got a lot of members. They're paying their $5 a month. There's Antoinette renewing the membership.
thanks, Antoinette.
That monthly
6,
membership, and people have been with us for years and years at this point. And that's why we're here, because I have an obligation to show up and do a show for the members, because they're paying $5 a month for something, right? We got to give them content. That's why I'm here. I'm not here because
of your good looks
well,
and your crazy rants
I don't know why.
and your shaved head.
I don't know what the other reasons would be. I did shave my head. Fred shaved his head too. I saw him with a fresh shaved head on Tuesday at jiu-jitsu, and I was like, yeah, I need to do that too. So then I did.
Oh, yeah.
You kind of look like a young George St. Pierre now.
That's right. I'm not
Yeah,
I
impressed
don't
with
know how
his
guys
performance.
I don't know how guys with long hair or girls with long hair do it at jiu-jitsu, man. It's so annoying, man.
It's a pain.
Freddie-
I used to have super long hair, and I was doing jiu-jitsu back then too, and it was annoying. It gets in your way.
Listen-
You gotta tie it back, and it's annoying. I don't like it.
Listen, one of my partners in jiu-jitsu, Rodrigo, who's like a bouncer at one of the clubs downtown, when he came into jiu-jitsu, he had dreadlocks. Like, he's from Mexico, so just imagine a Mexican guy with dreadlocks. Let me tell you, man, you should see how fast he shaved those dreadlocks. It probably took him his whole life to shave.
Why
to
did we
grow.
have to imagine that? Because I did immediately.
You know,
I just thought of
I'll
like
tell you,
Eddie
poor
Guerrero with
Rodrigo,
dreadlocks. I was like, yeah, that seems about right.
But the poor guy, man, he shaved it because what he didn't realize is that in jiu-jitsu, it's a dirty game. You could use anything that's presented to you. So he got choked out with his own hair. And let me tell you,
You
man.
can't do that.
Goodbye dreadlocks. Sure
can't
you
choke.
can. Who says you can't do that? If it's there, man, you can use it.
You could use somebody's hair on them as a weapon?
Listen,
I wouldn't
man,
do that.
did.
That doesn't seem honorable.
Well, listen, man. Shave it.
You listen.
He did.
Shout out to everybody tuning in tonight on Rumble. UFC time, says Eagle999. All our friends over on Rumble. Don't forget to follow, and you can support on Rumble as well. YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook as well. We're on all
And
the
Instagram,
things all
actually,
the time.
Dave,
Instagram.
Let's give a Instagram. We've hit over 1,000
yes.
followers.
AJ's
We're rocking.
posting has finally paid off in a way. Maybe
it has paid off. Listen, we got over 38,000 plays on Instagram just
on
this
some
weekend.
weird video you posted. AJ posts weird stuff on our Instagram that I don't always agree with. I usually disagree with it.
But this one you have to agree. It was a good one. It was with Jesse the Body Ventura talking about Andre the Giant, and fantastic content, in fact. And we've got over 38,000 plays. We've got hundreds upon hundreds of new likes on Ringside. A lot of people coming in from wrestling and
We're not
MMA.
live on Instagram, though. We're not on Instagram doing the show. The show's not on Instagram, so.
We should.
Should we be? Or
Could
could
we
be? I don't know. Maybe.
We should, man. I don't know how that works.
Well, if we are, it's going to be taken out of your hands, the Instagram, AJ, so then,
Well, listen, man.
I don't know if you want that.
The numbers are there. 38,000, man. It's not
For
only
weird
me. It's
stuff
PR
that you're
Mark,
posting.
man.
PR Mark.
Listen, PR Mark is he brought us over 1.5 million views on Facebook, 38,000 views just this weekend. Still
yeah, but it's not like your face on it. It's like some other video that you posted, right?
No,
that
our
you're
face
just
is there
reposting from something else. That's not really.
No, it's actually
for a long
been
time.
edited,
For a long time, I thought his name was Pierre Mark, but it's PR Mark. For a long, it's recent that I figured that out.
And Freddie, want to hear the best part about this? The best part about all this is that as of, I believe it's this weekend coming up, not this weekend, the following weekend, there's C2 in Montreal. It's a big networking thing, IT, social media marketing, all that kind of stuff. And the host speaker is none other than Pamela Anderson. And our very own PR Mark is going to be hanging around with Pamela Anderson, probably trying to sell Ringside Report to her, because I told him, I said, Mark, do whatever you can to get Ringside Report in her head and whatever else she wants.
What's that going to do for, how's that?
Wouldn't you want to have Pamela Anderson? I'd love to have Pamela Anderson on the show, man. I have a lot of stuff I'd like to ask her.
I don't have much to I really don't know what I mean, I guess I could do research on Pamela Anderson and ask her some questions about stuff, but I don't know, the movie Barbed Wire.
Pamela Anderson.
What was it like to make what was that TV show she had too?
Just
remember what AJ just said, man.
VIP? Wasn't it VIP?
What did I say?
No, there was Baywatch, but then after she had
Baywatch.
her own show. It was on late at night. I think it was called VIP.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
But hey, Dave, just remember what AJ just said, man. He said he would have a bunch of questions. So if by any miracle we ever have Pamela Anderson,
right,
it's all in your hands, AJ, and we'll see how many questions you actually have.
Yeah. So this is what AJ does.
You get creepy.
This is what AJ does. AJ has done this to me on numerous occasions. He goes, Dave, this guy would be a great guest, or this guy keeps asking to be on the show. Dave, let's get this guy on the show. And I go, eventually I relent, and I say, okay, AJ, let's get this guy on the show. We'll have him on the show. And then I'm like, well, what are we going to talk? I really have nothing to say to this person. Why are we having this person on the show? You're like, oh, I got so much. He did this, he did that, he could do this. And it's like, okay, so you have a lot you want to ask him. Yeah. Okay, cool. Then the day comes, we have this person on the show that I have no point of reference. I don't know nothing about this person. This is AJ's interview. Guy shows up, and AJ, I go, oh, nice to have you on the show, da-da-da. And I ask him an opening question, and then I wait for AJ to follow up, and there's AJ just sitting there looking, okay? Okay, this is your interview style. You sit there, you watch, and then you're like, Dave, and then you start talking about me to this guy. You're like, this guy Dave, he's been following MMA for so long, and he loves MMA, and Dave Simon is this and that, and Ted Teven and Dave knew him, and it's like all this, And it's like, all right, it's very nice, AJ, thank you, and you big me up to these people. And then you're like, so Dave, what do you think? And I'm like, about what? And then I have to keep asking this guy questions because you have no questions.
No, but listen.
Until you do the buttering up thing where you go, and you don't, and it's not a question either. By the end of the interview, when I'm done, and I'm like, okay, thanks for coming on, and I want to wrap up because I'm done and I don't want to talk to this person anymore. I'm really going in the inside of Ringside Report now. Okay, guys, you're getting the inside scoop. AJ, when I'm done and I want to move on from this person who is nice, but I don't need to speak with anymore. We're good. AJ will jump in and go, And, you know, it's so great that you do this and you do that and you have all these accolades. And let me tell you about how great you are. And you're talking to the person that you brought in. And you're amazing. And, you know, you should really be doing this and beating this guy. And Joe Rogan and Dana White and da-da-da and Dana White and Joe Rogan and da-da-da-da-da, right? Conor McGregor. And you say all these things and you compare these people to all these great people and say they should be associated with all these great things and they're the best. And then I go, yeah, and there's no question. And then the guy goes, well, laughs because you're ridiculous, and then says, thank you. And then I go, yep, thanks, bye. That's usually the course of it.
Listen,
and that's why I shut you down more and more, because I'm like, I don't know. You don't actually have questions for these people, and I'm going to wind up having to carry the conversation like I always do, and you're going to be silent until it's time to just kiss ass without a question. And you kissing ass is not entertaining. Nobody wants to. You're not a closer. You're not an opener. You don't do anything. You're a nothinger.
Okay, let me tell you something.
You're not even middle relief. You're not even middle relief.
Oh, sometimes I want to choke that guy out.
Fill up the play card.
Barely. I don't think he would know how to fill in the box score.
Listen, all to say is this, Dave. Regardless, I still get them. We have great interviews, and in fact, our views go up. People love it.
You know why we have great interviews? Because of me. Because I'm good at it.
That's why I let you lead, you motherfucker. You think I'm going to start? I let you lead, I let you talk, and then every time you get a little stale, I'm like, okay, I better throw something in.
I get a little stale. You dick.
You know, and then I gotta throw it in.
Amazing.
And then boom, the conversation goes, and it gets like really creative. Anyways, just to say is the good news is that
it's really creative.
We're gonna try to get a lot more like interviews for the year to come. There's gonna be some big names coming.
Great.
Big names, Dave.
Honestly,
big names.
See this, you're.
I've
interviewed all the big names. I've interviewed all the biggest names in all the combat sports and all pro wrestling and all of MMA. And I think that was in the past. I think now I just talk to you guys, unfortunately. Now I just have to talk to you. I talked to Hulk Hogan. I talked to Bret Hart. I talked to Shawn Michaels. And now I have to sit here and talk to AJ. I've talked to Conor McGregor and John Jones and George St. Pierre. And now I have to sit here and talk to AJ. I think that's just my fate. I've done something wrong in the past. Maybe a past life. There was some terrible transgression, you know. Maybe I'm Hitler reincarnated or something. You know what I mean? Maybe I did something terrible in a past life. I mean, I'm Jewish now. Wouldn't Hitler come back as a Jew just to fuck with him? You know what I mean? Who fucking knows? The point is, now I'm doomed.
Weed.
Now I'm doomed to talk to AJ. Doomed to a life of talking to AJ DeLessio.
Listen. The good thing is it's coming back, and we're gonna have some great interviews coming. And I'm telling you, some big names are on the lineup.
You're just saying things. These are just words.
Dude, these are not saying things. This is
still waiting for Drake.
Yeah, what about Drake? You promised Drake like 5 years ago.
Drake, well, that was 5 years ago when we weren't as popular. But now Drake should be listening
less
to us.
popular.
Listen, maybe. But listen, if Drake would have listened to us many times in the past, he would have made shitloads of money, way more money than the ones he won on the last one. That's all I'm saying. Don't listen to those other guys, Drake. You should have listened to AJ, because AJ's won another 5-fight parlay 2 times in the last 3 weeks. So listen to AJ if you want to make money. Just saying. I knew you were going to say that.
You actually did win a parlay last week, right? Yeah. Like twice in a row? What the hell?
2 times.
That's so weird. It was a 4-fight parlay last week, though, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. No, it was 5-fight, but then one, I think.
No,
I did. I brought out the 5th. No, I did. I brought out the 5th.
What was the parlay?
Let me get my cards.
You don't even know. You don't even know what you picked. You won supposedly, but you can't really prove it.
I took Jailton. I took Jailton.
Jailton. Everybody and their mama took Jailton over Jarzinho. That was a quick one.
Johnny Walker. I told you Johnny Walker.
You did, yeah, okay.
I told you because of the eye socket. Then I didn't go with the Carlos Ulberg, which
you took Ian Gary, right? You took Ian Gary.
I took Alex Morono, and then I took on the last one. I took Ian Gary. That's right.
That was it. It was a 4-fight parlay.
And then I told you, I said I have a pretty solid feeling that Mandy Bohm was going to come out, and you picked that as well.
Yeah, but that wasn't on your parlay. I don't think.
That wasn't on my parlay.
He's trying to add things to his parlay. but it was a
But
4-fight
I'll
parlay.
say-
But that's good. Well, good enough, AJ.
Yeah.
Like that's you don't have to add things. You did well. A 4-fight parlay is a victory. So good. You won. The payout was decent. Congratulations. My parlay lost. I forget what I did, but it sucked. I didn't even watch the fights.
You went with Anthony Smith.
I went with Anthony Smith.
that one.
I went with Anthony Smith and
I tried to convince you. I tried to convince
somebody
you about
else.
his eye socket.
I had like 2 fights that lost, I think. It was garbage. It was a garbage parlay. It lost twice.
Well, you had the Alberg. You picked with that. I think it was the Tim Means fight.
No, it was I took Gabriel Green over Brian Battle, and Green got knocked out in 14 seconds. My parlay
Yeah, that
ended
was
early.
terrible, man.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
rough.
yeah.
But these things happen, man. You can't win them all. Unless you're AJ, who has won 2 parlays in a two 4-fight parlays 2 weeks in a row. Pretty good. Pretty good.
That's
So
what
Fred,
we're
we
agreed,
really
but
like you've
look at the
had a
Irish.
terrible year, but now 2 weeks in a row, it's like, well, okay, all right, you've redeemed yourself at this point. 2 4-fight parlays, 2 like back-to-back weeks, man.
Things come in threes, dude. Things come in threes. And this Saturday, I'm pulling off the trifecta. Not only I'm gonna win, but 3rd time's a charm, man. For my good friend, poster girl, Mackenzie Dern. This is
AJ trying
gonna
to
be
pull
her
off the
third-
trifecta.
Sponsored by Trojan.
Good friend.
Um,
You don't know her at
listen.
all, bro. You don't know her at all. You hung out in a sauna with her dad. You've been naked with her dad. That doesn't mean you know her in any way. You hung out with her dad. You looked at his dick, and you're like, ooh, you know? I mean, that's all you've done. You hung out in the sauna. You talked about how in shape he is. You touched him a bit. Like, come on. That's not a relationship with his daughter. That's a relationship with
listen,
her father,
tell
which
you
is
something.
fine.
Let me tell
Like,
you something.
I
You gotta put her
encourage
up
you
with that
being so
together.
open-minded and such a generous
I
lover and friend to this guy. Was that a home run? That wasn't a home run. How's that not a home run?
Did he
Are you
cheat?
still watching the Yankees? They're gonna get swept. Listen.
What?
Did he cheat?
Okay, now we're not talking about you having sex with Mackenzie Dern's dad anymore. Now we're talking about the Yankees and did he cheat? Did who cheat? Who's cheating, Fred? And what do you mean did they get swept? First of all, they've won 2 out of 3 so far from the Jays. They lost yesterday, but they won 2 in a row before that, and they're winning right now 2-1. And Aaron Judge
but
just
it's
hit a
early.
ball off the top of the wall that they're saying is a double, but may have been a home run. It was pretty damn close. I think they're saying it's no, it's a home run. All rise, Aaron Judge. Let's go, baby. 3-1 Yankees.
Oh,
His
we're-
second homer of the game. That is his second multi-home run game of this series. He hit 1 yesterday, 2 the day before. No, I don't think he hit 1 yet. No, none yesterday. But the day before he hit 1, and then the day before that he hit 2, and now he's hit 2 tonight. Let's go, Yankees.
But did his
Aaron?
eyes do this?
So what? So what if his eyes did that? So what if he looked over to the first base coach to see if he could see the sign of the pitcher? They got PitchCom. They got a thing in their ear telling them what's going on. They got a thing in their hat communicating. They don't need to be flashing signs between their legs. That's not a thing that you have to do in baseball today. They could be skipping that process. They chose not to, and they chose not to hide it very well, so that the first base coach could see it. If the first base coach can see your signs and he wants to tell his player, that's within their right. That's not cheating. It's not cheating whatsoever. The Blue Jays are just sore losers, and they can't figure out why Aaron Judge is so much better than Vladimir Guerrero. The reason is he's just better. That's just, you know.
Yankees win!
Thank you, John Sterling. The man. They're doing video review now for the home run. You want to get me really amped up, Fred? Get me talking about the Yankees. I am.
7 games back.
Look, we split the series with the Rays, okay? We took 2, we lost 2. It is what it is. We've won 2 here from the Jays. We win again tonight. We've taken 3 out of 4. Things are looking up. Things are looking up. Rodon is pitching again. Severino is going to start on Tuesday. Stanton's going to come back at some point. I mean, there's injuries here holding the Yankees back, and those guys are starting to come back and become healthy. They are going to be... What the...
What
They
happened?
just took the home run away. They did a video.
Oh,
They did a video
man.
review,
Peters,
and now they
realized
sent
they're
Aaron
cheating.
Judge back to second base. Are you kidding me?
Back. There you go, man.
Whatever, double. Drive him in. Drive him in. Double with one out. I can't believe that. They took a home run away from the King. How dare they take a home run away from Aaron Judge? Did you see he hit a home run so far in the Blue Jay Stadium? He hit it so deep. He hit this big, like, maple leaf that they have. It's like this new, like, glass maple, like, plastic maple leaf sign. And he hit the sign, and he, like, dented, and a chunk of the maple leaf, like, came off. He busted the new maple leaf they had. Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, that costs money.
That's right. That's insult to injury, baby. Eat it, Blue Jays. Eat it. Oh, I hate the Blue Jays. Watching this series makes me hate the Blue Jays so much more. Their manager with his like face trying to get the Yankees the next game, trying to get the Yankees third base coach back in his box, like complaining about where the third base coach was. Like, really, dude? This is what you're doing now? You're complaining about where the base coaches are standing? Get a grip. If you're focusing on that, you're not focusing on winning. That's why you're a loser franchise. There'll always be losers. Blue Jays. I'm riled up now. Don't get me riled up, Fred. All right.
7 games back.
Stop saying that.
They'll get there. They'll get there, Freddie. Don't worry about it. They'll get there next year. But this year, they got to play hard.
Dude, 7 games, it's May. What are you talking about? Take it next year. Come on, man. The Yankees could still win the East. The Rays are not unstoppable, okay? One of their best pitchers just went down for the season. They're slowing down.
A lot of Yankee fans, man.
Yeah, good. Where? Brooklyn Lizard is a Yankee fan?
I just saw them coming in, some of this. Yeah. I guess. Okay. So they're all on your side, Dave.
I'm not seeing these chats. Where's this? Where are you seeing this?
On the other networks.
On the other networks.
Imagination.
His imagination, his feeds. There you go. Eagle 999, Brooklyn Lizard. I'm seeing some Yankees fans on Rumble, on YouTube and stuff. I don't know where else you're seeing them. Are there other people that you're seeing?
I saw something fly by, but yeah, it looked like Go Yankees or something like that.
All right.
Whatever.
AJ's hallucinating again. Did you get into our chocolate bars, AJ? Stay away from Fred's chocolate bars, okay? They're dangerous. How about this? How about some good news?
Easter,
How about some good news? UFC 291. UFC 291 got announced, and it's going to take place July 29th in Salt Lake City, Utah. And the main event is going to be for the BMF title. It's going to be Dustin Poirier against Justin Gaethje, a rematch between those two top 155ers, and that's going to headline the card. What is that? There's static on Fred's end. Fred, there's like static on your end. What is that? It's back, the static. I don't know what that is. It sounds like a loose connection.
Man.
Yeah, it's weird.
Oh,
AJ's here now,
Freddie
too.
can't hear us.
Oh,
Yeah,
Fred
I heard a little static. Can you hear us, Freddie?
Yeah, Fred's got like a staticky mic. New mic time, Fred. I think your mic's staticky. Uh-oh.
It needs a little.
Now
It
he's
needs a
gone.
little Vaseline there. There we go.
Nah, it's still staticky. I think it's the mic.
So what were you saying about 292, man?
291.
291.
Yeah, right? It's bad static. Oh, man. It's like worse now. It just got really bad. All I'm hearing is static now. Fred. Oh,
Man, that's a good card. If that can hold up without anybody canceling, that'd be solid, man.
There's a phone ringing in here now. What is going on?
What the hell's going on?
It's pandemonium.
Who's calling us?
I don't know. It's
Maybe a
stopped
mystery
ringing.
caller, man. You're allowed to call into the show, by the way. So if anyone wants to call in, feel free.
Hey, Fred, give me a mic test. Oh, yeah. No, still static every time you talk. Talk again?
Yes.
Yeah, there's like a... I think we're going to get you a new mic test. I think that's it. That's it. That's it. I've just made a decision. We're getting Fred a new mic. All right? Executive decision. Get Fred a new mic. Hit us up on Super Chat on YouTube so we can buy Fred a new mic. Fred clearly needs a new mic. Something's gone wrong. What is that, a Dollarama mic or something, Fred? Didn't you get a Dollarama? Come on, man.
It worked so well for
we'll
like
go back
over
to
a year,
Dollarama
man.
and get a new one or something. I don't know. Can't be that expensive.
Fine.
All right, well, we'll find you something. We'll find you something. Too staticky.
Listen, Dollarama went up, man. It used to be $1. Now it's something like $5 for everything.
Fucking Dollarama. Don't get me started on Dollarama. All right? Sick of going to Dollarama all the time. All right. No more Dollarama.
So listen, get back to 291, man. That's
it's a good
strong
card.
man.
Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje in the main event. Alex Pereira moving up to 205 to fight the former champion Jan Blachowicz, which is a pretty cool fight, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then we have Tony Ferguson coming back to fight Bobby Green.
That'll be a good one.
Didn't Tony Ferguson just get a DUI and start fighting people? Didn't he like drunk drive his car? Did you not see that?
No.
Fred saw that.
It happened recently?
Yeah, he like crashed his car somewhere and he seemed to be intoxicated and he was trying to fight people. It was not good. It was not a good scene. Tony Ferguson is not winning that fight against Bobby Green. I'll put everything that I have on Bobby Green winning.
Jeez,
Tony Ferguson,
Tony
unfortunately, is like he doesn't seem to be in a good place. His fighting career is over. The UFC is going to keep milking that train, and Tony's going to keep fighting. But my God,
that's
there's a limit, man. There's a limit to what you can take as a human.
Listen, man, he was off the track for a few times, in fact, and one of them was pretty harsh when he had like the whole demon thing, and he was hearing things, and things got out of line with his relationship. This was years back, and then he was like on the straight path. And
yeah, but I'm not really talking about outside the cage, really, just inside the cage. The Tony Ferguson that we've seen over the past, while hasn't been great.
Look, he's gone the distance. He's fought like an animal, but he just doesn't have something that we know of Tony Ferguson. It's unfortunate. I mean,
either you have it or you don't have it, and sometimes you lose it.
He lost it.
Sometimes you just lose it. Plus, he's older. He's old now. He's 39 years old. You can't be fighting at welterweight at 39 years old. It's over, man. Right. Or lightweight or whatever. A 39-year-old lightweight? I don't know. Yeah. Paulo Costa takes on Ikram Aliskerov. Your boy Paulo Costa back in action. Then we have Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Michel Pereira. Derek Lewis taking on Marcos Rogerio de Lima and Kevin Holland and Michael Chiesa. So already all those fights are pretty big. That's a sick UFC 291 card that they're going to bring to Utah. So good fights there. What do you think about Poirier and Gaethje being for the BMF title? Dana White tried to give us some line about, well, Jorge Masvidal's retired now, so he can't be the champion, so it's a vacant title, so we're going to crown a new BMF champion. Like, it's a real belt, and the old champion needs to be retired for you to defend it. Like, come on, Dana. It's a made-up thing. It's a gimmick. It's fine. I accept it as a gimmick, and I'm cool with it, being the gimmick for this fight. They want to have a championship of sorts for all their pay-per-view main events, and this is the only way they could do it with Poirier and Gaethje, put a BMF title on the line. But I don't see Poirier or Gaethje as, like, badasses. They're not, like, trash-talking kids like Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal. They're kind of, gentlemanly fighters. They're badasses in the cage, but it's not really BMF guys that you would kind of associate with the BMF kind of attitude or whatever they're trying to present. But whatever. Like, I'm fine with it happening, but Dana, don't give me this bullshit about, well, Masvidal's not the BMF champion anymore, so it's vacant, so we're crowning a new champion. It's like, well, why don't you have one for all the weight classes? Why is it just once in a while when you feel like it? Like, it's not real. Don't pretend like it's real. It's just a gimmick. It's stupid. We get it. You could do the fight without it, and no one would really mind, right? Like, if this wasn't for the BMF title, if this was for nothing, I don't think anyone would care, and I think the same amount of people would watch Gaethje and Poirier, BMF title or not. Right, Fred? Like, it doesn't matter. Well, oh, I can't hear Fred at all. Hold on, Fred. We can't hear
Freddie,
you at all.
You know what, Dave? I agree with
Damn.
you. I mean, if you're gonna have a BMF title and you're gonna put it out there, even though it's a gimmick belt, it's still exciting if it's someone who's able to trash talk to get that belt. You need like two loudmouths. I mean, I can see a Tony Ferguson getting in there with a Connor or something, and just hamming it out. That's what you need for a BMF title. Oh, there's the pop.
Oh yeah. I think Fred's mic has died. Fred, can you talk? Give me a
I
check.
think it's
Oh man.
that's done, man. Rest in peace, man.
I think it died. Talk again, Fred. I think he froze out. Fred's gone.
Freddie froze, man. Freddie freeze, man. He's back.
Fred should just go off his computer mic or something for tonight.
Yeah, that's it. Just go off the computer mic. That's it. You don't need that. Freddie freeze. But I do agree with you, Dave. Like, it is kind of gimmicky, especially with these two guys. I mean, like, Dustin Poirier is super nice. Justin
Hey,
Gaethje.
Fred.
Testing.
Yeah, it still sounds staticky. Can you just go off your computer mic or whatever for tonight? And we'll fix it next time. Switch mics. It'll sound at a distance, but it'll sound better than all the static, There you go. We'll figure it out. How's that, Fred?
Testing.
Yeah, I mean, you sound like you're in a fishbowl, but there's no static going constantly, so it's better. You know what I mean? And we'll fix it for next time. We'll get you a new mic. We're on it, Fred. We'll figure it out. So yeah, Fred, BMF title. What do you think about it? Do we need it?
No,
Right.
but like we live in this fucking like people like these little stuff, whether it's for social media or whatever. It just adds a little bit of cachet. But me personally, I really don't care. I think it's a great fight, and I would watch it. Like it's main event worthy. It's a great fight, but yeah, the whole BMF is fake. It's not real, man. But some people will clinch to that, man. Some people will want to see it because of that. I think.
Yeah,
marketing.
I think you're right. I think people are suckered into it. I think people mark out for that BMF title. They're like, oh, BMF. Like, it means something to somebody. It just doesn't mean anything to me. Right? I think you're right. I think there is a group of fans that are like, oh, it's cool, BMF, they care. But I don't know. I'm too jaded for that stuff. How
Listen,
about
man,
this?
but that's the thing with the UFC. Gimmicks do work, and that's what people like. And you were ranting about that last week about the entertainment aspect, and that's what sells. So we can't forget that even if it's a made-up belt, it's still a belt. And somebody was holding that belt, Masvidal, and I think you put like a Diaz in there, you put a Ferguson or a Connor attached to that belt, people are gonna take that belt, very seriously. Like when Masvidal had it, everybody watched him get it. Everybody wanted to see. Everybody knows what the BMF belt is. You know what I'm saying? So there is some legitimacy to that belt in some sense because people know what that belt is about. They'll know who holds that belt, but they might not know who holds the lightweight division.
Yeah, but shouldn't
belt.
Masvidal have lost it? Like, how many fights did Masvidal lost since that?
Yeah, exactly. No, but because it's the BMF title, it's completely different.
What's happening with AJ?
I like it better.
Yankees. But the thing is that no, I agree. Like, there are going to be people that like it, and I think it's a good belt to have as a gimmick because entertainment sells. But the thing is that you need two guys that are trash talkers to be holding that belt because it's the baddest motherfucker.
If we look at the actual lineage, I think Leon Edwards should be the champion because Masvidal won it against Nate, but he lost to Usman. So Usman should have become the BMF champ. And from there, Usman lost to Edwards. So Edwards is the BMF champ.
Correct.
You're right.
Correct.
You're right.
The real BMF champion is Leon Edwards because he is the lineal BMF champion. But he's not because it's not a real belt because it's stupid. If Masvidal was the BMF champion, why didn't he ever defend it? Who does he think he is? Conor McGregor, win a belt and you never defend it? That's not how these things are supposed to work. You see that McGregor thing on Netflix? I haven't watched it.
No, I got to watch it, man. Starting yesterday, right?
I think it's all there now, maybe.
I'm watching. Okay, since we're talking about, I got to do a side note here. You guys watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yeah.
That show's pretty funny,
Yeah.
man. And I'll
Danny
tell you what,
DeVito,
man. I yesterday I watched like that show has 15 or 16 seasons, so it's been there for a while, and I'm only in season 3, so we're going back like 13 years ago. But they had this show, and they used some words that I didn't think they could use, but it was hilarious, man.
Okay.
The girl was going out with a white rapper. Well, she thought it was a white rapper, but the other guys told her like, no, he's just like mentally deficient or whatever. But anyways, it was a fucking funny episode. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Watch that. It's on Disney Plus.
Oh, okay.
Is Danny DeVito still on the final seasons there, or the latest ones?
Is it still going on?
hilarious.
Do they still have?
Yeah,
It's still happening, that show? That show's been on forever, no? Wow.
it's 16 seasons.
Wow. Yeah, I've never seen it. I've heard good things about it. I've never
It's
seen
funny,
an
man.
episode. I have no idea what it's about. I had no clue. Yeah, maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll watch that, but so many seasons at this point. It seems daunting to start. What's up,
It
Angelo?
goes quick. There's only like 10 episodes per season, so it's a quick watch.
All right. Maybe I'll check it out. I got to get to Snowfall now, right? You told me that was on Disney
Yeah.
Plus, so I got to start watching that. And, of course, I've been watching Succession and Barry and Yellow Jackets. Those are the shows I've been watching recently. Yellow Jackets, like, gets worse every episode. I think I'm going to stop watching Yellow Jackets. I don't like
know
Yellow
what that
Jackets
is.
anymore. It's about a team of a soccer team, like a high school girls soccer team that they're going somewhere and their plane crashes, and it's like what happens to them as adults, but also when their plane crashes and they're stuck in the wilderness. It's
Not my type.
Didn't they do a lot of movies like that, like Lost or something? Was the
yeah,
same thing?
but
Like,
it's got like a paranormal aspect to it. It's
like Lost.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's not. I don't know. I started watching it and I was like, maybe this will be something. And the first season was kind of something, and the second season has just been not good. And I think I'm gonna stop watching that show. Barry and Succession have been fantastic though, but Yellow Jackets has been kind of not great.
Listen, nothing beats Ozark. You know, I love that show, man. That was amazing.
I think a lot of
love
shows
Ozark.
beat Ozark. I liked
A
Ozark.
lot
I
of shows
don't
beat-
know
yeah,
about it.
Ozark
Hey,
was
listen,
good,
don't
but a
diss
lot of
Ozark.
shows beat Ozark.
Because some of the cast members of Ozark actually support Ringside Report that follow us on Twitter and Instagram. So,
The one guy
Ozark.
there, the one guy
Yeah.
who,
yeah, he was the best.
not Michael Bluth, somebody else.
Well, yeah,
You guys know who I'm
you
talking
had
about?
Nope.
Jason Bateman, Michael Bluth. You
Yeah,
never watched
his name
Arrested
in there?
Development?
Arrested Development,
No, I've
hands
never
down, one of
watched
the best
Arrested
comedy
Development.
shows ever. One
Yeah.
of the best, hands down, Dave. I agree.
Yeah. I just every time
Like,
I
it's up there
watched
with
Ozark,
Seinfeld.
every time I watched Ozark, and Marty Bird, you know, his whole family's like, you know, doing bad things, and he's the one guy that has to keep it all together, you know, like just like
together,
Michael
put
Bluth,
together.
you know, he's you know, the family, he's got to keep it all together. That was Michael
He's the
Bluth's
glue,
whole
man.
story, and that's what he did in
I'm
Ozark. It was
shocked
kind
that
of funny.
Freddie never saw Arrested Development, man, because you saw like what was that other show that we watched that was oh man, the guy who won the lottery ticket and he was like trailer park, what's it called?
My Name is Earl.
My Name is Earl. One of the funniest shows as well, man. My Name is Earl. The Arrested Development and Seinfeld are up there, man, as the funniest of all time.
I wouldn't really put My Name is Earl up with Seinfeld and Arrested Development, but to
It's
each their
so
own, I
funny,
suppose.
Dave. Come
I mean,
on.
My Name is Earl is pretty good. So.
It's damn good. Nobody could beat that show. That was super funny.
I
And he's in
like,
some other show right now.
I like Peep Show. Peep Show is the best.
Yeah, I used to know a lot of peep shows back in the days in New York. It was
No,
good.
it's
yeah.
a British sitcom. It was very good.
I used to put in my quarters. Who didn't see that?
Yeah.
I saw plenty of it.
It's the same guy who created Succession. Jesse Armstrong also created Peep Show. He was like the main writer and creator of that show. And it was great. It was one of my favorite shows ever. I'd say it was the best sitcom ever. Like my favorite sitcom for sure. Jez and Mark and Super Hands and everything. Peep Show is the best. And then when he created Succession, I was like, my God, this guy, he's at it again. So shout out to Jesse Armstrong. That guy is an entertainment-making machine. Genius. All right. Francis Ngannou.
How did that tie in?
I don't know.
Talk about a
Francis Ngannou, was this a good move? He signed with the PFL.
I mean, if he's happy, good for him.
Yeah, he signed with the PFL. Apparently, he's going to make in the close to 8 figures for each of his fights that he has.
But it's 2-fight contract, 2 or 3.
I think it's 3. But he's going to make, in the tens of millions over 3 fights. He's going to make a lot of money. His contract also stipulates that his opponent makes, I think, it's a reported $2 million just to fight him. So he's, trying to look out. Yeah, I mean, for $2 million, I'll fight him. Fuck yeah. What the hell, man?
Yeah, but
I mean, he'd be one of the last guys I would want to fight.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather fight John Jones because John Jones will hurt me, but Ngannou could, just kill me.
Yeah, but he probably
So
wouldn't.
can John Jones, but...
Yeah, he probably wouldn't, and there are ways to stay defensive and survive. And I think for $2 million, I would fight anybody. Really? $2 million? I'm fighting anybody. I don't give a shit.
Can I tell you what I don't like about his deal? I don't like that I read that supposedly he's not fighting before 2024, I think. That's what I read.
Before 2024, yes.
Yeah.
And also I read that it probably he's trying to find a boxing fight before an MMA fight.
Yep.
So those would be the 2 things that I'm not really crazy. Francis, man, you're a great MMA fighter. You should be fighting MMA. And when was that that Cyril Gane fight? How long ago was that already? So he's got to be out for it. It's been a while. It's been over a year for sure that Ngannou Cyril Gane fight. So, anyways, man, I just want to see him fight, man.
Look, Fred, I'm going to tell you something.
Francis's last fight, hold on, AJ, just so we can get some facts here, because I think Fred brought up some interesting points numbers-wise. Francis's last fight against Cyril Gane was January 2022. He's talking about not fighting until 2024. So that'll be 2 years at least between fights for Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou is currently 36 years of age. He'll be turning 37 this year. He'll be 38 in 2024 when he decides to fight again, or just about 38. So the time is going, and I don't know, man. I don't know how good a deal this is for PFL, because they're trying to put him out on pay-per-view. I don't know if MMA fans are going to buy a pay-per-view based off the strength of the name of Francis Ngannou. You better find an opponent for him. You better put Jake Paul on that card too. Let's be honest here. If PFL wants to do a pay-per-view and have people actually buy it, and I'm not talking about 30 to 80,000 buys. I'm talking about 500 to 1 million buys, right? I'm talking about legit pay-per-view numbers, not little bullshit that won't cover your nut with the Francis Ngannou contract. I'm talking about a real return on your investment. If you want to do that, you better A, find Francis an opponent, or B, stack the shit out of that card so everybody wants to see it. Because if you don't have a solid undercard and you have Francis Ngannou against Fabricio Verdum filled with a bunch of no-name PFL guys that you've never heard of, nobody's going to be watching this shit. This is going to be affliction all over again. So PFL, 100%. I don't know who's running PFL. I don't know who thinks that they know the game of MMA, but I've been around the game of MMA for a long time and seen a lot of promotions try to be the second best of the UFC, and I've seen them come and go. And you could go and you could sign Fyodor Emelianenko, you could sign Francis Ngannou, you could sign whoever you think is the #1 guy in the world. But if he's inactive, if he's fighting nobodies, and there are somebodies that are fighting in the UFC, fans are going to start to question, is this guy still the best? Is he really the best? And also, are fans even going to watch? Because I don't know about you guys, but I struggle to find MMA fans in my everyday life. I meet UFC fans all the time, but I don't know about too many MMA fans who are paying attention to the PFL and Bellator, and they're even aware that Francis Ngannou has signed with the PFL, and they're going to put down money to pay to see Francis Ngannou fight.
Well, Dave,
I don't know.
Dave, listen,
people
man.
have a tradition of paying for the UFC pay-per-view once a month. It's the UFC. It's a tried and true product that you know, that you're invested in, that you understand. PFL's got weird rules. They got a circle cage. They got the smart cage. They got the ref cam. And they got Francis Ngannou against absolutely nobody. So this is a great deal for Francis, and I'm very happy for him. But everybody in MMA is saying, well, this changes MMA and how fighters can... I saw Daniel Cormier, who's a smart guy, who said, this changes the landscape for free agents and what you can get and da-da-da. It's like, well, maybe it changes what one guy was able to get because he leveraged being the heavyweight champion of the world and one of the most dangerous dudes on the planet. Sure, it changed what Francis was able to get, but I don't think this really changes what other MMA fighters can expect. And I don't know if this is necessarily good if PFL doesn't get a return on their investment. And that's really the point, is that if PFL gets screwed on this deal, if they spend all this money on Francis and they don't really get much out of it, they're not going to want to do it again the next time. You know what I mean? They're not going to want this. So other fighters who are maybe thinking, I'll get the Francis deal, well, that deal's only going to come around once in a lifetime for the PFL. And Francis Ngannou's got it. So, look, I love it for Francis. Good for Francis. He got the money. He did well. He's got a deal where he's the chairman of PFL Africa, which is a non-existent thing at the moment, but maybe they'll grow it and it'll be something. Like, you're the chairman of PFL Africa. What's PFL Africa? Well, it's nothing. Well, okay, and that was part of your contract? You wanted this? Good for you. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it'll grow into something. He's on this board of fighter relations or whatever, so he can help the fighters and represent. He's getting a lot of the things that he wanted from his UFC deal in the PFL. He can go box. He's even going to do a boxing fight before fighting for the PFL, which is really great for the PFL. Like, this is hold on. This is shit for the PFL, is what I'm saying. I don't think that they're going to get a great return here, and I hope that they do. I hope they can find an opponent for Francis, but if they don't, they better put Jake Paul on the undercard to sell that thing.
Listen, Dave, let me say something. I've been holding my breath this whole time. I totally agree with you. On two sides of the coin here, man. When you look at it on paper, it looks like Francis Ngannou is like this genius. You're absolutely right. He's going to be on the board for the PFL Africa, which I think is a great idea in writing, but it's not even there yet. He's going to get like double digits millions where these guys can't even... They don't even know realistically how their pay-per-view numbers are going to work. Because if you look at the UFC, the guys that sell the most pay-per-view numbers is Conor McGregor. Not even John Jones came close to a Conor McGregor. And between me and you, Ngannou could not even come close. He's not going to do it in the PFL. There's a lot of money that's being thrown at him. There's a lot of bells and whistles. Everything looks great. It's going to open up a lot of possibilities for fighters. But who are those fighters? And if you get a guy like Ngannou, like you said, which is absolutely right, if you put him against a marshmallow, a guy who has no name, who's going to buy? He's not going to be recognized as a champion. And the worst thing that can happen out of all this, if you want to see a company belly flop right away, is a guy like Ngannou going into that first fight. You know, a lot of money dropped on marketing because you need to make back all that money you invested, and the guy loses. The guy loses, he's finished from every organization down the road. And you know what? Right now, when you look at the heavyweight badass, the baddest motherfucker in the world, it's really John Jones. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but it really is. And John Jones called out Ngannou. He says, listen, bud, you know, like, honestly, like, he was laughing at him. You know, Ngannou says, okay, you know, come on this side of the street, literally, like, come over to the PFL. It's not that something like that can happen. But it all depends on Ngannou's first fight in PFL. If he doesn't look like a killer and kill someone, not kill literally, but beat someone who has a big name, he's not going to be. They're not going to take this guy seriously. The numbers won't be there. The money won't be there. This is very, very dangerous. This was very dangerous for the PFL to put themselves into. And you know what? I don't want to be like the bearer of bad news, but I think this is going to backfire. And unfortunately, man, Ngannou, like, he's not a businessman. I know he wants the best for himself, for fighters, for his country of Africa. I think that's all great. But, man, you went a little bit ahead of that horse, and I think it's going to backfire.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people in MMA are celebrating this news, and I feel bad for not being more positive about it. I think it's good for Francis, but, you know, as a guy who knows the landscape of MMA, I don't know what PFL can really offer as far as opponents, and that's a problem. And also, the fact that they keep signing these big-name guys like Jake Paul and Francis Ngannou, but they don't have fights booked for them or opponents or any real plan on what to do with them. And it's all like, well, in the future they'll fight. It's like, okay. That's a while away. Like,
old,
I don't know, Matt, to sign Francis Ngannou at this stage of the game and to say, well, he can box first and he'll fight next year. Cool. Like, all the momentum you might have had by announcing the signing is kind of slowed because now, well, MMA fans have to wait till next year to see him actually fight. People are going to forget. The more time passes, the more people forget about you.
Exactly.
And I think you're right, AJ. I think John Jones is the baddest heavyweight on the planet. I think John Jones would demolish Francis Ngannou if they fought. And, you know, unfortunately for Francis Ngannou, John Jones went in and just schooled Cyril Gane, right? And that performance from John Jones made everybody go, hold up. John Jones is the best ever. Francis probably couldn't fuck with him. So Francis is kind of not worth that much. And Francis can go and do whatever he wants in the PFL, but already John Jones is the guy that people are looking at and saying, nah, John Jones is the best. Francis is not anymore. Like, Francis has been gone for like a year and a half from the UFC, and already the idea that Francis is the #1 heavyweight is very debatable. You know what I mean? When Francis beat Cyril Gane, it was like, oh, yeah, well, Francis is the #1 heavyweight. And people even thought, John Jones, I don't know if he could go up to heavyweight and contend. If he gets hit by Francis, his head might explode, right? People thought, well, John Jones, he maybe can't do it at heavyweight. I thought maybe there's a chance he can't, but probably can't because he's the best, right? But the questions weren't answered. But then he fought Cyril Gane, and the questions were answered.
Well, so, not really. I'm sorry to interrupt, Dave, because
what do you mean?
Let me. No. Hold on a sec. They had to go to the 5th round to decide if Ngannou was going to win. That 5th round was the deciding factor. If Cyril Gane,
that's not what Dave was talking about.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. You don't understand what I'm saying, AJ. What I'm saying, see, again, you're misunderstanding the English that I'm speaking for some reason.
Well,
what I'm telling you, AJ, if you shut your mouth and open your ears, you'd fucking learn something.
Listen,
what I'm telling you, AJ, all right, taking you to school, my friend. Listen, son, take it easy. What I'm telling you here is that John Jones smashed Cyril Gane, right? And Francis Ngannou could not smash Cyril Gane, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So when John Jones smashed Cyril Gane, he made everybody go, well, if he could do that to Cyril Gane, he could probably do the same thing to Francis Ngannou. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying anything about your boy, AJ, your boy Cyril Gane, who you love, who you want to kiss and hug, who you want to hang out in the sauna with. You did kiss and hug him? Yes, I know you did. I know you did. It's France. It's a different culture over there. So, you know, I'm not saying anything about Cyril. All I'm saying about Cyril is that he's not as good as John Jones in MMA by a long shot, and Francis probably isn't either. And because of that fact, Francis is not looked at as the #1 heavyweight in the world right now. He might be, but it's not a clear-cut answer, whereas a year ago it was. And that's why Francis in the PFL doesn't really mean much in the grand scheme of things, because he might be the #1, he might be the #2, we're not really sure, but the game's moved on. Would Sergey Pavlovich beat him? You know what I mean? The more guys show up in UFC, the more you think, well, Pavlovich might have a chance against Ngannou, and John Jones will probably beat him, so how good is Francis really? And that's when the conversation started happening about Francis. Like, yeah, is he that good? And the more time passes with Francis not smashing somebody's face in, the more guys like us are going to go, Francis, he's old news. And if he's old news and then fighting in the PFL, you going to buy the pay-per-view if he's fighting a nobody?
And like you said, Dave, the more time he doesn't fight, the more people forget about him. Because, like, we're hardcore fans. We'll always know who Francis Ngannou is. But many people, they just watch, like, the UFC commercial, and that's, like, their information about MMA. It's like, oh, this guy's fighting this weekend. This fight is fighting this weekend. So if they're not seeing Francis Ngannou in any promos for 2-3 years, they'll just forget about him.
And let me tell you, Dave, how many losses does John Jones have?
0.
How many losses does Ngannou have?
1.
3. So
3?
listen,
Wow.
and that's the thing.
That many?
When you look at it's that
Stipe
many.
and
He
who
lost
else?
to Derek Lewis. He lost to
Oh,
Derek
yeah,
Lewis.
Derek Lewis. Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? He lost to Stipe. So I'm going to be honest. Can John Jones beat Derek Lewis?
Well, yeah, of course.
Can he beat Stipe?
Easily, I would say, probably.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, he had one loss in Paris, France, which was his 3rd loss for Ngannou early in his career.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pass that. But to lose to Stipe and to lose to Derek Lewis when you're in you're talking back in 2018, a much younger Ngannou.
Yeah.
To me, those 3 losses are what reflects.
Not as good at MMA, though. Like, his wrestling skills, his grappling skills greatly improved after those fights, especially the Stipe fight.
They did. But the thing with John Jones is John Jones has always been amazing. And you know what I mean? He's always been amazing. And to go over from light heavyweight to heavyweight and still put on a performance like he did was bloody impressive.
Yeah.
Because
and
he
this
was
is coming
out of
from
the
you.
octagon for a long time.
Noted John Jones hater AJ DeLesio here telling the world that John Jones is the greatest heavyweight living and maybe fighting right now, maybe of all time. Maybe of all time.
I gotta give credit where credit is due. Listen, he reformed me, man. He made me believe, and the reason why he made me believe is because of the way he fought. There was just something about him where I'm like, how can this guy do what he does? How can he come into the heavyweight, becoming the heavyweight champion in combat sports? You're the king. And the thing is that this guy has an unblemished record, man. Ngannou has those 3 losses, 2 against guys that he should have beat if he were that good. And there's no way John Jones is going to lose to any of those 2 guys. Even in 2018, if he stepped into heavyweight. That's the difference. And I'm telling you, Ngannou stepped on a landmine, and it didn't explode yet, but it will soon. That's in my opinion. So if there's a lot of guys in the MMA world celebrating it, a lot of those guys are celebrating something. And I'm happy to see an organization flourish, to have another venue for fighters to grow. I think it's great. But you know what? You're putting all this emphasis on Ngannou. What about making your product strong? You're relying on one guy for your organization. How about making that organization strong like the UFC did? And PFL has great fighters. You know what I'm saying? We have Olivier Aubin-Mercier here from Montreal, Quebec that went there and won. He was champion. He made $1 million. You know what I mean? He left the UFC and he was able to dominate in PFL. What I'm saying is that's where they should be focusing on. You know? No, but you know what I'm saying? It's like that core bunch of fighters, man. You know? It's a landmine, dude. It's going to backfire. I'm just telling you. We'll be talking about this next year at this time, and it's sad, man. You know, they don't have the money to pay off a guy like Ngannou double-digit millions. I'm sorry to say.
All right. Well, hopefully they can find a good opponent for Francis Ngannou. And I don't.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't know.
That's
Brock
what I'm saying.
Lesnar?
If you don't know, there's already
Brock Lesnar.
But
that would sell pay-per-views.
It would sell
But
pay-per-views.
he's in the same company as John Jones, not as a...
That's right. That's correct. I doubt they would get Brock Lesnar. He is part of the WWE UFC company that is now known as the TKO Group Holdings. They have a name for the merger. Yep, TKO Group Holdings. That's correct.
I know somebody's not happy about that.
I don't know if that exists anymore.
Freddie's friend.
All right, let's do some picks. Let's do some parlays. Let's get AJ's hot hand going again. Where'd Fred go? We lost Fred? There's Fred.
Alrighty,
Fred,
what
you all
happened,
right?
man?
Yeah, I hit refresh by accident.
Oh, okay. Let's do a parlay picks. Let's give you some picks. Let's do a preview here for the fights.
All right, I got a parlay. Simple.
What? Already? Fred is like jumping out. All right, it's a UFC Dern versus Hill this weekend in Vegas. Mackenzie Dern versus Angela Hill is the main event. Edmund Shabazian versus Anthony Hernandez in a middleweight fight is the co-main. You got Emily Ducote versus Lupita Godinez on this card. Joaquin Buckley against Andre Fialho. Michael Johnson takes on Diego Ferreira. Ilir Latifi against Rodrigo Nascimento. Some decent fights. Chase Hooper, the kid, takes on Nick Fiore. Takashi
That's gonna be a
Sato
tough
against
one.
Themba Gorimbo. All right. Fred, I know AJ's going to pick Mackenzie Dern, and, you know, she's got good jiu-jitsu, and I think Mackenzie Dern's probably going to win, too. She's coming in as the Bet99 favorite right now. Dern, minus 184. Hill, plus 180. What's a Team Fred parlay this weekend? What do you got?
Mackenzie Dern, Anthony Hernandez, and I'm going to add Michael Johnson to it, but I'm not very confident about that pick, but I'll go with it. Michael Johnson.
I like Michael Johnson, too, in that fight. I think he's going to win that fight. He is a slight underdog, plus 128, but I liked his last fight. I thought he fought quite well. So here is the Team Fred parlay. It's going to start off with Mackenzie Dern at minus 184, Anthony Hernandez minus 217 over Shabazian, and Michael Johnson plus 128 over Diego Ferreira. $20 over at Bet99.com will get you 106.36. Look at that. Plus 416 parlay there. 3-fight parlay from Team Fred. Johnson, Hernandez, and Dern. Dern. AJ, what do you got for me, man?
Man, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not picking Mackenzie Dern because, you know, there's some love there.
Come on, man.
But
That's
really,
a gimme.
this is no, listen,
She
man.
has
If
to
you
be Angela
break
Hill.
down the stats, Angela Hill, 38 years old, but don't kid yourself. Angela Hill is like veteran experience. Like if it comes to the stand-up game, Mackenzie Dern has to be careful. Striking, punching. I mean, her wrestling. If they get to the ground, we know what's going to happen. I think Mackenzie Dern is going to beat her by submission. But when you're looking at the last fight, Mackenzie Dern lost. You know, Angela Hill is on a 2-fight winning streak. You know, but you're going up against one of the world's elite BJJ masters, man, and that's Mackenzie Dern. This is going to be her third time going to the main event on a main card. Third time's the charm. She's going to win it, and this is going to be her first main event win, and it's going to happen on Saturday night. So that's
Angela
Mackenzie
Hill.
Dern.
Sorry, AJ. Angela Hill has 12 losses to a record, 10 by decision, 2 by submission. So Mackenzie Dern is going to have 5 rounds to get that tap. I think she probably gets it. So you got Dern in the main event?
Yeah, and that'll be early, by the way, Dave. I don't think it's going to go 5 rounds. There's no way that's going 5 rounds.
Okay.
Then I'm going to go with Anthony Hernandez, like with Freddie. I think one thing with Anthony Hernandez, out of his last 5 fights, he's won 4. He's won his last 3. This guy, man, is like a relentless wrestler, man. He's an amazing grappler. He can pace a fight, and that's the thing with Edmund. He has problems, man. His cardio is not great, and if he's going to try to go toe-to-toe, man, and go the distance, I think Hernandez is going to destroy him. He's going to keep him up against the fence. I looked at some of the footage. Look, Edmund is a good fighter, but out of his last 5 fights, he's lost 3. So he won his last one, but I'm going with Freddie on this, Anthony Hernandez. Then I'm going to go with Lupi, man. I think Lupi is I'm not sure if she's the underdog on that, to be honest.
I can tell you here, Lupita Godinez is the favorite, minus 160.
She is the favorite. Okay, because, you know, Ducote there, she's not bad, man. Out of her last 5 fights, man, she's won 4. She's no joke. She's a better striker. She has better kicks. You know, this is a tough one to go with. But I think this is going to go to the ground, man. And I think wrestling is going to win in this fight, and I think Lupi is going to do it. Good fighter. 29 years old.
What else you got? Keep
Then
it
I'm
moving,
gonna end
man.
it
You're
with,
killing me.
Come on, man.
Hey, man, I'm going to go with Buckley here, man. You know, when you have a cold, you always take a Buckley, and Buckley's going to do it. He's lost his last 2.
Okay.
Keep that in mind.
Who
But
else?
he's won his,
Is that it? 4 fights?
And then I'm going to go with Michael Johnson, man. I agree with that. I think I'm going to go with Johnson. Diego Ferreira coming back after a year. It's going to be tough. I think Michael Johnson, just super fast, man. Powerful striker, man. Technically, like, he has everything. It's hard to go against MJ.
Team AJ parlay. Finally, I think he's giving it to us. He's taking his
Yeah, but I got to
sweet-ass
break it down.
time.
Why, man?
Mackenzie Dern, minus 184. Anthony Hernandez, minus 217. Lupe Godinez, minus 160. Joaquin Buckley, minus 225. And Michael Johnson, plus 128. $20 at plus 11. 110 gets you 254.52. That is a nice payout there on $20 for the Team
My
AJ
trifecta's
parlay.
coming.
It's a 5-fight parlay. AJ doesn't know what a trifecta is. He's got 5
No, if I
fights,
win-
not 3.
Not
Oh, you mean
that,
3
man.
in a row?
3 wins
I
in
see.
a row.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Johnson, Buckley, Godinez, Hernandez, and Dern.
Steven would be upset with you right now.
I guess I gotta do something. I gotta do a parlay.
That's it, Pat.
Do a quick one.
Ah.
Keep it simple.
Stop rushing me, Fred. All right, let's get weird here. Let's do a weird one. We're going to go with I'm going to go with you guys. I'm going to start off the way you guys started off, okay? You guys both had Dern and Hernandez. I'm going to go with Dern and Hernandez, and I'm going to take you through my picks. Dern, Hernandez, and then we're going to go way up. I'm going to skip out on Johnson. I'm going to make him a solo bet. I'm going with Karolina Kowalkiewicz over Vanessa Demopoulos. No, wait. I'm skipping out on Kowalkiewicz. I don't trust her. I'm going with Rodrigo Nascimento over Ilir Latifi. And that's it. That's my parlay.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's not a big payout, but I'm feeling cautious. $20 gets you 70 with the Team Dave parlay. It's Nascimento, it's Hernandez, it's Dern. It's a 3-fight parlay. Team Dave, 20 gets you 70, 73, and that's it. That's all I got for you. Patrick C. Hamilton dropping a super chat. He says, nothing on this card excites me. Is it time to play AJ's picks again with the 777? Lucky Patrick. I think it is. AJ's been hot last week and the week before. His parlays came through. Can he do it 3 times in a row? I would say probably not, but I never assume he would win. So, hey, why not go with AJ? I might even throw some money on the Team AJ parlay, but I had a parlay too, and I'll probably throw money on the Nascimento. I don't remember. Hernandez and Dern?
And Dern. Yeah, I think that's pretty solid. I think Nascimento should be able to beat Latifi, man. Latifi is old now, man. He's 40 years old.
Yeah, 2 of my picks were on your parlay and Fred's parlay. So we got Dern and Rodriguez. Both on our parlays, right? So that was good. That's a good start. Hernandez.
Rodriguez. Thinking too many Yankees, man.
Oh, yeah, I'm distracted. I got the Yankees game in front of me. It's 3-2 Yankees, bottom of the 8th in Toronto. So we're still watching that. Been watching the game the whole time. Fred, you got any NASCAR for us?
Yeah, sure.
There we go.
All right, man. I wasn't here last week, man. The whole season is the Ross Chastain season, man. Last week, he had that fight, and I couldn't talk about it. And Noah Gragson went and confronted him, but poor Noah, man. He went super aggressive, but never threw a punch. And Ross just decked him with a good one. And it made me think of my challenge wanting to fight Ross Chastain. And I'm backing out of that because if you saw that fight, within 2 seconds after the punch, the whole security team were all over him, man. And I need a little bit more than 2 seconds if I'm going to fight him. Like, I'll be honest, I can't do much in 2 seconds. So I don't want to fight Ross Chastain anymore. Plus, he's making the season super interesting. But last week, man, he was again involved in a big crash. 3rd time this season, he crashes Kyle Larson. And those 2 cars are the cars you bought me, Dave. Too bad I don't have them. I left them to my kid. But yeah, so Kyle Larson, he drives for Hendrick Motorsport, who's the Evil Empire, I was telling you, and Hendrick Motorsport, Mr. Hendrick, he got mad, man. He pretty much told Ross Chastain, you can't be doing that. And Ross Chastain, for once, like said, yeah, maybe I have to change stuff. And I'll tell you why he said that, because his team, they buy their engines from Mr. Hendrick. So at some point, you can't be pissing off the guy you're buying your engines from. And Ross Chastain, man, I think he's going to be a little bit quieter. But, man, he's making the season super fun. So I hope he continues to drive aggressive, crash a couple of other people. Let's have some fights. And some other guys, man, are pussies, man. Noah Gragson went to fight that guy. And just before that, you could hear Chase Elliott going in his ear like, yeah, somebody has to do it. Somebody has to do it. Well, why don't you do it, Chase, instead of pumping up Noah? Anyways,
Yeah.
Ross Chastain.
Don't be a chicken hawk. Go for it. Go for the fight. I like Ross Chastain, the watermelon man. See, I'm getting to know these guys. I'm starting to come around on this NASCAR stuff. I went to the States a couple weeks ago to do some shopping, and I found some, like, authentic NASCAR cars because we don't have them in Canada in the stores, So I found a couple for Fred, and I was proud of myself because I remembered the names because there was a bunch of names, but I was like, Kyle Larson and Ross Chastain. He's definitely talked about these guys before. So those are the ones I got, Fred, and I think I did good. So.
And Freddie, you didn't mention also it's possible that Casey Kane is going to be coming back. He's retired since what, like
Is he?
2018, man. Yeah, 18 times.
You want to know something interesting about
winner,
Casey Kane?
Yeah.
His middle name is Kenneth. So if I tell you his name is Casey Kenneth Kane, how do you think you spell Casey and Kenneth and Kane?
They're all K's, Dave. That's,
is it all K?
Yeah, they're all K's, man. Casey with a K and Kane with a K.
I'm just saying. That's
Why would his parents do that?
I don't know.
Maybe there's only one reason, right? I mean, it is NASCAR. I mean, if you're going to give your kid the initials KKK, I mean, I think you're going to assume something about the guy's parents, right? You might be like, well, maybe your clan's... I mean, people in the Ku Klux Klan exist, right? And they tend to be in the southern United States, so... Right?
AFC time.
What?
I mean, yeah, well, that's an interesting note there, Freddie. I didn't know that. But anyways, he's looking to come back.
You didn't think I'd go there, huh? I didn't even know I didn't know... He was a good driver a couple of years ago, but, I mean, he's been retired for a while.
18 times, man. He's won the Cup Series, man. He's no chump change, man.
How many times?
But 18 times. 17 or 18 times, somewhere around there.
Oh.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, it'll be good for the sport. Listen.
He won't be back.
NASCAR. I don't know with that, man.
All right, well, there's the NASCAR update from Fred. And I'll be back tomorrow night to talk about wrestling with Johnny. There's all sorts of CM Punk controversy again. I mean...
Again?
Yeah, there's always controversy with CM Punk. They were supposed to say his name, and they didn't say his name, so people were worried that he's not coming back now. It's a whole thing. It's always a whole thing with this guy.
Say my name.
Yeah. AJ doesn't know that song. AJ, you know that song? Come on, Fred, let's sing it. Say my name, say my name.
Say my name.
When no one is around you, say, baby, I love you. When the sun and change. Say my name, say my name. You acted kind of shady. Ain't calling me baby. Do-do-do-do-do. No?
Country song.
AJ?
Sounds good.
No. Destiny's Child, man. Your favorite.
We should go karaoke one day,
Destiny's Child.
Fred, you want to do karaoke with AJ? AJ's choices would be so good, and then our choices he would not know. It'd be fun.
I think we should.
Let's do it.
I need a few
There's only two things in life that make it worth living. There's guitars that's too good and fur-feeling women. I don't need my name in the marquee lights. I've got my song and I've got you with me tonight. Maybe it's time we got back to the basics of love. Let's go to Lukenbach, Texas, Willie and Waylon and the boys. Let's do that, Fred. You and me just duetting country music style all night long, baby. Let's do like a shit ton of mushrooms and do karaoke with AJ. That'll be fun.
Find a bar, man.
They have mushroom bars yet? Can we go to those? Does that exist? That'd be fun.
I mean, we could take the mushrooms before going at the bar.
And during and after.
We mostly need the karaoke.
That's right. All right. I mean, we could just take enough mushrooms and assume there's karaoke. You know what I mean? Like,
also, but it'd be better with a crowd, you know, like because we're talented. I'm sure.
Of course. I mean, you just heard me. The talent is unbelievable.
I'm telling you, we still got to do that video that Freddie doesn't want to participate in. We got to do a music video.
Rapping,
a rap song. Yeah, I got to write it for you, AJ, because you can't rap for shit. You suck at rapping, AJ.
Hey, listen, man, don't diss AJ. Vanilla Ice, man.
Don't diss AJ.
AJ Ice.
I just did.
So write it. I'll sing it. You got to know when to hold them.
That's not a rap.
Know when to hold them.
AJ, you can't rap. You're a garbage rapper. I challenge you to a freestyle battle now. You start.
Right now?
Yeah, but you start. Freddie, drop a beat. Fred can beatbox.
I hate rap. I like country music. I like na-na-na, na-na-na-na-na-na, but you know it's a beautiful thing.
Kurt
Hennig.
Give me a beat.
Kurt Hennig.
AJ was right about the Jake Paul. AJ was right about Ronda Rousey and them all. AJ was right about CM Punk till he took the fall. AJ's right with a 3 strikes parlay this weekend. It will come down, and you will fall. Where's the beat, man?
That was horrible. That was so bad.
I know, man, but give me a break,
and you will
man.
fall. You just had to throw the word fall in
twice.
again because you
I had to
realized
throw it in,
I was trying to rhyme words there, and it didn't quite work. So.
Well, it did work at the end, man. What are you talking about? Don't be jealous, dude. Don't be a hater.
All right, man.
I know David. I can see Dave's face. He's thinking about what do I say? What do I say?
I'm thinking about. I think we're done here.
Yeah.
Hey, let's not forget, man.
Bye. Patrick C. Hamilton, Super Chat leader of the night. You are the man, Patrick. Thank you for supporting. That money will go straight into the Fred new headset fund that we're working on. We're going to figure that out. Get Fred a new headset. Fred, I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, where we will do jiu-jitsu on each other. And others. On each other and others. AJ, I'm going to do jiu-jitsu on you sooner rather than later. You better watch out, because I'm coming for you.
Well, come on Tuesday.
Yeah. Maybe I will.
Not this Tuesday, actually, Dave.
Oh, making excuses already, I see. You're like Francis Ngannou running away from John Jones.
This Tuesday would have been a good one for me. Too bad.
Really? So maybe.
Yeah, I would have done it too, but too bad. Get PR Mark there, and Fred and Dave will come, and we'll show you guys the 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, the real shit. You know?
Okay.
I'm fucking with you, AJ. I'm messing with
you. No, but we got to. Listen, organize the karaoke night, and let's do it, man.
All right, but you have to do mushrooms. If Fred and I are doing mushrooms, it's only fair that you do mushrooms, too. You have to be on drugs.
We'll just spike his drink, man.
Listen, man, the last time I got hotboxed, it wasn't a good show, remember? It was a great show.
It was the best. We're spiking you. We're drugging you. You're just going to have to deal with it, all right?
I still have nightmares of cats because of that night. But
I'll be back tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern, with Wrestling Uncensored. Johnny North and I will be talking about the wrestling. It's happening tomorrow here on the Ringside Report Network.
Please join in and give your support to Ringside Report Network. We've been providing expert coverage and commentary on both pro wrestling and MMA for over 15 years. Go to ringsidereport.net/support to find out more ways to support the channel.